Hello everyone, by the looks of it, everyone is really enjoying update 12 that recently got released. Well, I'm certainly enjoying update 12. The new night maps are really refreshing to play and even making some more maps more enjoyable to play. Now, a few days ago I released a preview for update 12 and I thought, why not make a review of update 12 as well? Let's go over what I personally think of update 12, what changes that actually made it into the final release of update 12, and how it is all working out now the update is live. They even snuck in a few surprises that weren't on the PTE and so on. Now, I had a few days to actually play the new update and test a few things, because I wanted to get the full experience and not jump to conclusions too quickly. In short, let's go over the good, the bad, and the ugly in update 12. Let's kick it off with the good and the most anticipated feature, the night maps. I really do enjoy playing the night maps, it feels refreshing and it almost feels like a brand new map in some occasions. Some maps are even more enjoyable to play right now, for example let's take Hurricane Forest. I always somewhat avoided playing this map, but with the night map edition I actually genuinely do enjoy it more. There's a lot more close combat action going on and sometimes you even get the occasional surprise jump scare by accidentally walking into someone. The same goes for Voy. This map has always been hampered by all the open fields you had to cross, and this made it really hard to push a point or counter-attack a point. And with the addition of the night map on Voy, you get a bit more wiggle room to cross those fields and push. I do have to say, however, they could have made the night maps a bit darker. They're still too bright in my opinion, and turning up your brightness does in fact help. Oh, and so does turning on video filters on, which I mentioned in my preview guide and settings guide and so on, but I already discussed this point quite often, so I'll keep it at that. Another thing I noticed when playing the night maps is that on some occasions enemy players stick out like a sore thumb against the night sky, which makes it so easy to spot them and track them, and this also counts for yourself. You need to be extra careful on those maps when firing and reposition basically after every shot. One could even argue it's easier to see enemies on night maps than it is on day maps. All in all, for me personally, they are a great success. It gives a complete new experience and playstyle you have to get used to. The addition of the new commander abilities like the Stuka can absolutely send shivers up your spine when you hear that Stuka scream heading for you, or the reworked artillery sound effect is absolutely terrifying when it's landing close to you. Especially at night, the flashes and impacts are amazing. They could have made the delay just a wee bit longer when it is about to hit the ground, because you don't even have a fighting chance to get out of the way. Whereas before you could move a bit and say some Hail Marys that you guessed it correctly based on the sound. Another cool effect is the flare gun, and yes, there is a downside to it, but I will go over that later. I was playing a match on Omaha Beach yesterday. When attacking a point I just put my OP down, squad spawned in and we ran into a heavy enemy presence. We were pushing us heavily and then we noticed a red glare or red reflection on our cells. Apparently they had a spotter close by which dropped a flare above our head and exposed us on the map. This red glare or red reflection on the rifles is such a small but really cool effect, and it also shows the level of detail the developers want to add to the game. Because I noticed quite a few details on the new map Remagen as well. Before we go over Remagen, let's quickly go over the new modes on Omaha Beach. Now they reworked the beachhead on Omaha, they made it available for all modes, and I must say this rework turned out great. The warfare mode made the map shine and I even can see it getting some competitive play. In short, Omaha Beach plays fantastic, the map looks good and it feels fresh to play. The quality of life changes they made also falls in the good section in my book. The VoIP sliders are super useful for balancing out the different comm channels, and also the optimizations they are slowly pushing and developing are getting better and better. People are seeing frame rates they haven't seen before. They even snuck in a small change when it comes down to recon planes or flare guns. The enemy players are more visible on the map because they changed the color from light orange to a darker shade of red. Before we go over the things that they could have done better, I want to call out the smart materials they further implemented. If you see the new Panther, Sherman or the new camo the Panzer IV got, it looks stunning. Also the sound of the Panther, that deep roar when you fire up the engine sounds really good. It does however make it harder to recognize the difference between the German tanks, because both camos almost look identical, or maybe it's just me that I have to get used to it more. In all fairness, if we look really close at this patch, there are a few things they could have done better and some things a lot better. I will leave that one for the ugly section later in this video. First things first, the new map Remagen. Now, I'm still a bit on the fence on what skill bet I'm leaning towards, but all in all the map is horribly unbalanced. As I predicted in my Update 12 preview video, the bridge is a massive choke point, and it all revolves around airhead plays and a race to the bridge. Whoever gets the right airhead play or gets a garrison across the bridge will win. And add in the massive height advantage the Germans have, that's making the map really unbalanced. The Germans can just park a few tanks on the edge of the cliff and wreak havoc on all the blue parries on the opposite side. There are a few things though I noticed about this map where the developers did an amazing job. The night mode variant of Remagen and then fighting it on the bridge is absolutely stunning experience. You got all this smoke around you, you're slowly clearing out the bridge, then out of nowhere a rocket flies past your head. It's just amazing, it's good fun to play. Even on the side of the bridge they added in these small details, like you got those boxes where you can stand on, just to give you an angle to look over the bigger boxes. Just the devil is in the details. I also found out the hard way a well-placed MG can pump your legs full of lead under the boxes. I really do like this part of Remagen and the design and the small details the developers added, but does however not change the fact that this map has massive balancing issues. Like driving from German HQ is like you're doing a parkour, and I don't see this map becoming a popular map like St. Mariglis or Utah Beach. And I definitely don't see this map getting any competitive play unless it's for shits and giggles. With the addition of the new Panther, it changed the tank meta a lot. In short, the new Panther can do everything the Tiger tank can do, but better, it's a faster tank, it has better handling, it's got a faster reload time and it's just a hard-hitting tank. Although the new Panther has some weaker armor, it doesn't negate all the facts I just stated. The king is dead, long live the king. I'm expecting the new Panther will get a lot of play and be the favorite tank on the German side. The new Sherman medium tank has a nice feature with the smoke rounds, but I saw it can get stuck quite easily and yeah, it doesn't stack up against the other tanks in the game. Basically the new Panther can rip through most allied tanks like Swiss cheese, and I do think they need to have a hard look at how the tanks are currently balanced. They don't necessarily have to rework the whole armor system, because they recently did that. It's just, the system can work in its current state, but they do need to rebalance some of the tanks. Another thing they could have done better is the added in a boatload of information when it comes down to your personal stats. There is some nice information in there and some funny information, but it is just too much not needed information. I think a better way was the way they could have done it was to keep the old stats, but add in an extra button or a drop-down menu with the detailed information or something along the lines of that. The ugly. This update has changed a few things or hasn't fixed a few things that they definitely should fix in the upcoming hotfixes or even in the upcoming update. For example, the new MG sound. I absolutely don't like it. It sounds more like a BB gun at the moment. It doesn't sound impactful or scary like it used to. It is missing that punch, if you know what I mean. And I'm hoping they will bring back the old sound, or at least gives this sound effect more oomph, where it feels like you're under pressure of a raging machine gunner gobbling up his belt of ammo. The addition of the flare gun is a nice addition, don't get me wrong here, but the ugly thing is, it's prone to abuse. A flare gun will make every enemy player visible in a certain radius, and the spotter gets a flare with the level 3 loadout. It comes with only one round, or at least so you think. The flare gun is really prone to abuse because you can just place an OP in a good position, hit redeploy, keep spamming those flares and marking enemies. Yes, the flare gun can help attackers and defenders alike, only it should come with a cooldown like the support boxes or the ammo boxes. I reckon that change will balance it out a bit more. And again, as I stated in my preview video leading up to this one or leading up to the patch release, the two most annoying bugs are yet to be squashed. The loadout bug where you're stuck in the level 1 loadout is still a thing in the game, and the grenade bug where you pull out a grenade and it releases at a random moment is also still present. And it is the case with all updates or changes, A new bug showed up his ugly head. I haven't encountered this myself, but I'm reading different stories about players having their keybinds reset whilst playing. It's not even when closing game or restarting game. It seems to be happening while you're playing, so keep an eye out for that.
I'll try to move in.
All in all, I think this update is good and added a lot of new features, mechanics and good changes overall to the game. Yes, there are a few things that need to be fixed or changed, but I hope that's all in due time. We can't have everything and we can always find things that can be better or should be better. Sometimes the visions and ideas me or you have simply just don't align with the vision the developers have. If we look at the roadmap the developers have set out, it's an ambitious roadmap and they stated that themselves. We already had a lot of cool features in the past updates and there are also cool features coming up in the next updates. I can't wait till they add in the British forces as a new faction and the flamethrower update. How awesome would it be if you could push a trench and clear those trenches with a fucking flamethrower? Or for recon, adding in Willys jeeps to get around the map instead of taking a truck would open up a lot of possibilities. And again, amazing addition to the game. As per usual, I recommend watching my other guides where I go in depth in a certain class and talk about everything you need to know to play it effectively. Or if you want some quick tips and tricks, have a look at my tips and tricks playlist, which is ever so expanding with more videos. I'm also curious what you guys think about update 12, so leave a comment below with your opinion and I will see you in the next guide.